speech, and he's going to present a speech about lessons learned, meeting that the speaker facilitated, or present a speech about speaker's leadership experience facilitating the lessons learned. Let's welcome Toastmaster Stephen Hill. Stephen.
Hope for the best, expect the worst. Good evening, Toastmasters and guests. This is something that my mother has instilled in me that has driven me crazy for many, many years. She always used to have a saying, you better hope for the best, but man, you're going to expect the worst. Get ready for it so you won't be too excited or the expectations won't be too high. It brought back to mind of this because my mother just celebrated 75 years on this earth. She is 75. She's been through 7 surgeries in 2 years. And I noticed in those 2 years, she hasn't said, hope for the best, expect the worst. She's been feeling a little down and depressed because she wanted to know, why is this happening to me? Why is this? I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't swear, I go to church, I believe in God. Why is this happening to me? She says. So one day I asked her, I said, Mom, I noticed you don't say, hope for the best, expect the worst. She says, well, in my situation, if I expected the worst, I won't be here today. So I have to hope for the best. I don't want the worst. I want to invite you on this expectation theory, the transformative power of positive thinking. How do we get there? How do we get to the point in our lives where our expectations don't drive us? I can explain a story that I had on April 21st. A lot of you know I've started my own business. And I remember when I left my job, I took a picture with my hand out in the door of the title like goodbye. Because I am a visionary, because I see things, I feel things, I know things that I know I wouldn't have failed. I can't fail because my expectations is greatness. Is to have something that I know I can leave to my children. So when I left that job, I had no negative expectations what was going to happen to me. Nor did I realize the amount of challenges I would have along the way. This is what happened. So instead of me having that low expectation, I ended up going to a seminar where an individual in a small group was doing a little speech. And I remember him saying, that expectations is like the best chef in the culinary world. So immediately he got me. So I said, how is that? I said, excuse me, sir, what did you mean by that? He said, the chef is the only person on the planet that can create something from thought where you can smell it, taste it, see it, and appreciate it. So immediately I was like, tell me more. He says, imagine someone dreams about a dish. He wakes up and he wants to go get the ingredients. He gets the ingredients, then he starts to perfect that. And then he tastes it, doesn't taste right. He goes there, he goes that, and he brings it to life because his expectations is that meal, that dish is going to be delicious. Immediately I was locked in. My disappointments that I've had recently started to succumb a little bit. It's like that metaphor of you being a walking contradiction of your own self. So as I continued on, I noticed that, and I'm a big God man, so sometimes I'm going to throw a little God at your way, but I'm a big God man. And I remember a pastor said, this is the highest I've ever been, but this is the lowest you'll ever see me. Immediately, It resonated with me. I knew that this was just a stepping stone for me. How do we get from having those negative expectations to those positive ones? It's immediately that we go back to things that happen to us that make us have that negative expectation. Immediately, you've always heard, you're not good enough to be an athlete. You're not smart enough to be a scholar. So when something happens, you immediately remember those things that someone said about that particular situation regarding something that has happened to you. Those expectations can really harm you. Self-sabotage, they call it, they say. When self-sabotage happens, then all of a sudden, things start to, as they say, snowball. It gets worse and worse and worse. How do we get ourselves out of that? How do we get ourselves out of it? Our inner narratives are really our outer realities. This is what happens to us when we have something that is completely negative, something that doesn't help us transform our negative thinking to our positive. So I'm going to come to you and say, when I ask my mother that question again, why is it that you don't say that hope for the best, expect the worst? Always remember that your positive thinking is just a prediction of your future that you can control. Toastmaster, thank you.